Good afternoon. Stella, if you'd please read the call. This meeting is called to order.
Notice of public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene an executive session and regular meeting on Tuesday, June 5th, 2007, at 5:15 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the City Commission chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Federal Building, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. Executive session, item A, deliberation pursuant to Section 551.074, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code concerning the evaluation of the city manager of the City of Brownsville. Executive session, item B, discussion pursuant to Section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code regarding real property.
May I move that we go into executive session?
Motion by Commissioner Camarillo, seconded by Commissioner Cisneros to go into executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We'll be in executive session. This meeting is called to order. If everybody would please stand. This evening, we have three special children, Alyssa Trevino, Stephen Trevino, and Emily Trevino, who are going to lead us in our United States and Texas pledge. And for those of you wondering, yes, those are my kids.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one and indivisible.
Emily, come here. She's in charge of the house. I do not see Father Felix here. I'm sorry he didn't make it. So if everybody will indulge me, normally we ask Reverend Longoria to lead us in the invocation when we're without somebody, but if you all will allow me the opportunity, I'll try to give it a shot myself personally. If you please bow your heads. Good Lord, thank you for giving us the opportunity to come together to do the work of the city and of its citizens. We hope that all the business that is transacted here this evening is done for the betterment of all the citizens and is done in your good name. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity and everybody else at this commission to serve the citizens of Brownsville, and ask for your guidance now and in the days to come. Through your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Good job.
All right, first proclamation, Home Ownership Month. Commissioner Cisneros.
Do we have anyone here for homeownership?
I don't know.
No? Steve Solis? Oh, here
Where's
we go.
Steve?
Where's Steve? You can make it?
Steve's actually.
Come on.
Yeah, he couldn't be here. Okay.
A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, designating June 2007 as Homeowners Month in our city. Whereas throughout our nation's history, homeownership has been central to the American way of life, and homeownership plays a critical role in strengthening families and communities, and for these reasons, our nation has long promoted homeownership. And whereas homeownership creates community stakeholders and offers children a stable living environment, influences their development in measurable ways, children of homeowners score an average of 9% higher in math and 7% more graduate from high school. And and are more than twice as likely to graduate from college. And whereas homeownership also serves as an engine of social mobility and the pathway to prosperity, where owning a home is a family's quickest and surest path of self-sufficiency while providing families with stability and security. And whereas today, nearly 80 million Americans are homeowners, and the percentage of households that have achieved homeownership, nearly 75%, is at an all-time high, with minority homeownership also at an all-time high, with nearly 52% of all minority households owning their own homes. And whereas the federal government is working aggressively to make homeownership more affordable and more accessible, and to ensure that the dream of homeownership is available to all Americans, and the city of Brownsville joins with Brownsville Affordable Homeownership Corporation and the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development in this mission. Now therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby designate June 2007 as Homeownership Month in our city, and further urge all residents to join in the effort to recognize the importance of providing every family with the opportunity to own its own home. Done on this 5th day of June 2007, signed by our Mayor, Eddie Trevino Jr., and this City Commission. Congratulations.
Oh, you had a chance to say something.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I was gonna. On behalf of the Board of Directors and our Executive Director, who could not be here today, we want to thank the City Commissioners and the Mayor for recognizing our efforts to provide affordable housing to the low-income residents of Brownsville, and indirectly providing jobs to our local economy. We look forward to our continued partnership with the City of Brownsville for many years to come. Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Keep up the great work.
Thank you.
At this time, I would like to ask a very good friend of mine and of the City of Brownsville, the Mexican Consul, Victor Manuel Treviño, please step forward to the podium. Victor, por favor.
Victor.
This is a proclamation, and I'm going to say a few words after I'm done reading this about this very wonderful gentleman. Proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, honoring Victor Manuel Treviño, Consul of Mexico in Brownsville. Whereas Victor Manuel Treviño was born in Mexico City, Mexico on May the 27th, 1959, holds a bachelor's degree in political science from the Universidad Autónoma Metropolitana, and a master's degree in foreign relations, planning, and postgraduate studies on national security from the American Defense College in Washington, D.C., and has served as a professor of Mexico-U.S. Relations and Border Affairs at the Universidad Autónoma de Baja California. And whereas Victor Manuel Treviño has been in the Mexican Foreign Service for 25 years, serving the Mexican government at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Mexico City, as well as at Mexican consulates in Texas and California, and at Mexican embassies in Belize, Central America, and the United States. Whereas Victor Manuel Treviño has been the Mexican consul in Brownsville since May the 23rd, 2005, and during the 2 years he has been here, he has worked to solidify the already strong ties between the United States and Mexico and Matamoros and Brownsville. And whereas Victor Manuel Treviño has worked long and hard to assist educational programs in the Brownsville area, and has worked with local banks and with the Cameron County Juvenile Department and the DIF in Matamoros for the repatriation of juveniles. And whereas Victor Manuel Treviño has continued the decades-old tradition of creating stronger and stronger bonds between the City of Brownsville and the Mexican Consulate in Brownsville. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby honor Victor Manuel Treviño, Mexican consul in Brownsville, for his diligent work in building new bonds while strengthening existing bonds between our two cities and, in fact, our two nations. For this, we thank him. Done on this 5th day of June, 2007, by the mayor and the city commissioners.
Victor. Go ahead, Victor, si quieres decir una
For
palabra.
those
pero-
of you who have not had the opportunity or the honor to have interacted with Victor Treviño, Brownsville has been very, very blessed by having him brought to our city 2 years ago. Clearly, in this day and age, we see a lot of discussion being made about the differences between our two countries. And what Victor has done in the 2 years that he's been here at the consulate has fostered the ties, those that strengthen. I can tell you on numerous events that he has asked for city participation, city involvement, and where we have asked for his participation and his involvement, he has come through and done so eagerly and with a lot of regard. I am going to be sorry to not be working with you after I leave, Victor, but I know that the City Commission appreciates your efforts over the last 2 years. You've been a good friend to the citizens of Brownsville and to everybody that works with you. We're thankful for having you in Brownsville, and I want God to continue to bless you and your family.
Mayor, and if I may real quick, I've had the opportunity to work with Victor and his staff, and Victor, every time that the city has called upon you, you've always made yourself readily accessible, and not only you, but your staff, and they're a mirror of you, they're a reflection of you, is what you've brought to this city. So I want to thank you for that. You've done a great job. We're happy to have you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I want to say some words, but I would like that the team of the Mexican consulate, we
Absolutely.
will
Sure.
me. And obviously my wife that is here.
Please come up, pásenle.
Believe it or not, this was unexpected until 2 hours ago that we received this invitation. Thank you.
I wanted to do this as a surprise. We all knew, but Victor wanted to know, why do I have to be at City Commission? I need to be prepared. So it was supposed to be a surprise.
Surprise.
You are lucky because I don't have any speech for the occasion, but I just talk from my heart. And thank you very much, Mayor, and thank you to the city commissioners for this recognition, for this proclamation. We are proud to work for our government on behalf of the Mexican government here in Brownsville. We feel in our city, we are part of this community. I already have a baby born in Brownsville.
That's right. Congratulations.
I'm very proud of that.
Congratulations.
And I'm very proud, thank you, to work with you and continue to work in the following years. But this is not the Mexican consulate as the head of the mission. We are a teamwork here, and also, well, I want to recognize my wife that is supporting to me and also my kids. But this is part of the team. We are open to work together to still building bridges of understanding between both countries, between the city of Brownsville and Matamoros. Thank you very much. I appreciate.
Thank
we
you,
appreciate
Victor.
all of this. Thank you.
All right. Last but certainly not least, we have some athletes of unbelievable achievement and character in our city chambers this evening. I'd ask the St. Joseph Academy Girls Track Championship team to please step forward. Oh, we thought you all were going to wear your track spikes and outfits.
Notice how beautiful they all look, tall, lean, like gazelles.
I wouldn't want to run against them. Good job, girls.
I didn't read that.
Coach Garza here?
Where's Meme? I mean, Coach Garza.
Some coaches up here. I know there's
Oh,
some
Teddy.
coaches over here.
Where's Teddy?
Hey, Meme, come on up.
Come on,
Teddy,
Come on up.
Coach. Trying to hide.
Don't be afraid.
Oh, no, he should be afraid.
Corona.
Teodoro, how are you?
Daddy?
This is a proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing and commending the St. Joseph Academy girls track team on its successful season. Whereas the 2006-2007 scholastic season is one that will be remembered by the City of Brownsville for an outstanding track performance by the St. Joseph Academy girls track team. And whereas throughout the year, the St. Joseph Academy girls track team displayed the drive, the discipline, and the spirit that is required of champions. And whereas on May 5th, 2007, the St. Joseph Academy girls track team competed at the Texas Association of Private and Parochial State Track Meet at Baylor University in Waco, Texas, and they won the TAPPS 6A Track and Field State Championship. Whereas members of that championship team include Karina Lambert. Where are you?
Katrina.
Raise your hand when I call your name.
Oh, she's not here.
Sabrina Reyes, Marissa Shinsky, K.B. Hernandez, Andre Owen, Olivia Reed, Paulina Martinez, Laya Morfitt, Sarah Hernandez, Micaela Hernandez, Angela Parker, Carrie Matar, Catherine Bowen, Kelly Hainan, Bethany Dawson, April Phillip, Laura Herrera, Miriam Cavazos, Elena Buenrostro, Gabby Cantu, and Bridget Brashear. The managers, Susana Sendejas and Marisol Melguizo. The head coach, Meme Garza. And the assistants, Cynthia Martinez, Theodore Teddy Lopez, Regino Corona, Hector Garcia, Ray Cortinas, Ben Sandoval, and Ernie Barbosa. Now therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the charter of this city, do hereby recognize and commend the St. Joseph Academy girls track team on its championship season 2006 and 7. And this was signed on the 3rd day of June 2007 by the mayor and the city commissioners.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, girls.
Congratulations, girl. Coach Garza, we know you're a man of few words, but could you please share a few?
Well, if you look at these girls, and we have some that are out of town, but if you look at them, you can see why it's so easy to go out to practice every day. I want to thank Sally for putting this on the agenda, and of course, the rest of the city commission. And I've always felt that this is their program, it's not the coach's program. So the girls selected one of our captains, Leah Morfitt, to say a few words and thank the commissioners and thank the mayor. It's really nice to be able to see a St. Joe guy sign the proclamation.
I wasn't good enough to compete on the girls' team back then, so.
Anyway, Leah, you want to come up and say a few words on behalf of the
You
team?
aren't now either.
Clearly.
You aren't now either.
On behalf of the St. Joseph Girls Varsity Track Team, we just really like to thank all the City Commission, especially Sally Arroyo and the Mayor, for this recognition. It means a lot, especially as a senior on our last year, and just to end out in a great way. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Keep it up, girls.
Well done, ladies.
That's all he's getting. Hey, Ted, congratulations, bro.
Congratulations, girls.
If you only give him a $3,000 raise, you only get the 180. Only 180.
What time is this practice? What time is your practice? All right. Presentation, Mr. Cavalier, Employee of the Month, June 2007.
Let me see if Susana Guzman here. I lost her. Oh, here. Mayor, members of the commission, please help me welcome Susana Guzman, our Employee of the Month for June 2007. Susana's been with the city of Brownsville for 7 years now. She made a wise decision to leave the planning department after 6, and she's now working at the engineering department. And of course,
Good one,
of course, with our aggressive construction occurring right now, and she being part of the engineering department, she works very closely on a lot of our contracts in relation to engineering and making sure that all the paperwork gets done so we can achieve our goals, which is get as much done as far as drainage and street. She also helps the other employees with some of their tasks throughout the day. And we congratulate her because she had to come up here with a baby because she's going to have a baby pretty soon, so.
Congratulations.
As Employee of the Month for June, she is eligible for the Employee of the Year at our banquet in December. And, of course, she gets the traditional pin and cap and plaque. And Carlos Lastra, her director, will take her to lunch first thing in the morning.
Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I do. I created my little speech. Good evening, Mayor and the City Commissioners. First of all, I want to thank my director, our City Engineer, Mr. Carlos Lastra, for the opportunity and for believing in me, my family, and Engineering Department staff for their support and patience. Ms. Corey Chapa for her help and training in the Engineering Department, my friend and co-workers, Mr. Noe Puga, Virginia Diaz, Norma Castañeda, Lisa Vega, Gina Gonzalez, Sylvia Sanchez, Sylvia Maldonado, and to all the city departments employees that have helped me throughout this venture. This recognition doesn't end here. I will continue to strive to the best of my ability to do a good job. Lastly, it's a pleasure and honor to work for the city of Brownsville and to serve our community well.
Congratulations. You know, the only person you didn't thank and that you missed is your baby, but I guess you'll take care of that.
He's here.
Congratulations.
Congratulations
Thank you. Good night.
All right.
for serving.
Consent agenda.
Consent agenda items A through F.
To approve?
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. All right, we're going to go to item 11.
Item 11, consideration and action regarding the city manager's contract.
Where's Mr. Cavalier? Go ahead and take the seat up there. The podium.
Hey,
The chair.
We had an opportunity to evaluate Mr. Cavalier during executive session, and I think it's safe to say that the consensus of the commission is that we are extremely satisfied with the work that you provided the citizens of Brownsville over the last several years, especially since I've been mayor, Charlie. Personally, I want to thank you for the service, not just as city manager, but the many years of dedicated service that you provided the citizens, both as city manager and as a police officer. arguably, those are two of the toughest jobs one could have in the city, and you've tackled them both, and not only have you done them, but you've succeeded at them. And I think the citizens of Brownsville need to realize that we have one hell of a city manager running the city every day, and that most importantly, the directors, the employees of the city are very, very positive and proud of the leadership that you've shown over the last several years. So I don't know if anybody else wants to make any comments.
I'd like to add to that. You know, we did request an evaluation based on people wanting an evaluation, and I was gladly wanted to do an evaluation because I knew it was going to be positive. And I'm glad we were able to meet an executive and just find out and to let you know what a wonderful job you're doing, and we can be more proud of what you bring to the table, which is common sense, which speaks volumes of what we need here, and the job you're doing with the streets. And even though you got a bad rap, or the city's been getting a bad rap, we are improving the streets, and it's because of Charlie Kabler and his persistence to get those streets maintained. And I'm glad we did this, and you deserve it. And before we make a motion, I think somebody else wants to say something.
Yeah, if I may, Mayor and Commissioners, and to all the public, Charlie, you've just done an outstanding job throughout the years. You've dedicated a lifetime service to public service, and I'm honored to be a part of this. I'm honored to be a part of your leadership. What you reflect, your reflection shows throughout the whole city. I mean, not only in the city manager department, but throughout all the departments in the city of Brownsville. You're doing an outstanding job. Keep up the good work. And like Commissioner Atkins said, you do a great job with the streets, but you do a great job in every department. It doesn't matter when we come to you with any concern, you're able to meet that concern head on and bring a solution. So thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, sir.
Based on that, I would like.
Hold on,
You want to say something?
yeah.
Sorry.
Words. Charlie, as I mentioned earlier, it's great. It's great to know that we have a city manager like you here in Brownsville. I'm very proud to work with you. I think as we mentioned earlier, you know, this commission should not micromanage the city manager or the entire city, and we don't have to, because I think you ask us for advice, but we know that your role is to manage the city of Brownsville, and you've done an excellent job. You're intelligent and you're passionate about what you do, and that's, I think, extremely critical in being a city manager for this community. You know the people and you know your staff, and they really like to work with you, and that's probably the second most important thing to being very effective. So Charlie, thank you for doing what you're doing for the city. People always think, oh, it's the commissioners that do all the work, or the mayor, and we need to tell them, you know what, it's the staff, it's our city manager, and the direction that you have given everyone. So Charlie, thank you for all that you do.
I'm going to miss you more than anyone else, Charlie. You've been wonderful, wonderful to work with, and I appreciate all the time you've spent with me.
I'm going to miss you, too.
And Mr. Kabler, on my behalf, I want to thank you sincerely. I'm a rookie, and you have made me feel at home. You have helped me quite a bit. Your staff is excellent. I wish you the best, and I'm very satisfied. I've only been on board 2 weeks, but from the conversations I've had with you, you're very knowledgeable. You are taking Brownsville to another level, and with our support, 100% support of this commission and the mayor, we're not going to micromanage. You run the city, and you're doing great, and we're going to back you up 100%. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. Charlie, when we had the task upon us 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, to select our city manager, criticism always was that we bring in a professional city manager, if you want to call it, from out of town, or someone else. But I remember that this city commission was set forth on, not just for it being a local person, but it being somebody who knew the community. And I know that from your experience as a police officer, and from your experience as a person that's involved in the community, and the many things that you do, and the many aspects that you and your family do, and the contributions, a lot of people don't know the contributions that you and your family have made to this community are historic. You're one of Brownsville's historic families. So to have somebody like you, or somebody such as yourself from your family, and people that are dedicated 100% to this community, it's an honor to have you serving as our city manager. And I know that some commissioners are going to introduce what not your new contract, but the new additions to your contract. And what gets to me the most is you're so humble about everything. You're, number one, you're always worried, you're more worried about the city than you are about yourself and your family. But my friend, this city doesn't run without you. And you've got a family to support. You've got bills just like everybody else. And what I admire most about you is that commitment to your family and to this city's kids. For a lot of people that don't know, and it gets criticized a lot, this man doesn't use a city card to pay a lot of the time for the lunches that he meets with people. He pays out of his own pocket. When he's got expenses, a lot of those expenses don't come out of the city. They come out of his pocket. He won't burden the city with those expenses. So Charlie, you know, for having that kind of an outlook and for always looking out for the city, thank you for what you do, my friend. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it.
All right. This is an action item.
With that, I'd like to motion, based on the fact he's been here 4 years and he's never asked for a raise, probably doesn't even care for a raise, I would like to motion that we raise his salary
No, go ahead.
to 153,000 plus a 1-year severance pay.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Charlie Cavler. Charlie, you all right with that? You learn to live with it?
I'll learn to live with it. Thank you.
All right. Well, you are more than deserving of that and much, much more. And I'll echo Sally's comments. I'm going to miss you a lot. You made my job a lot easier. So I hope that continues.
You know, if I may, Mayor, I'm going to miss you, and I'm going to miss Commissioner Arroyo, and it's been an honor working with you. I think you're more humble than I am when you say that I'm running the city and things like that, because you have helped me extremely in adapting to this job. I was humbled to be fortunate enough to receive this position, and I worked very hard to learn as much as I could in the last few years. And a lot of it came from talking to you and what you all had vision for the city. So I appreciate what you've done to help me in achieving our goals. And I'll echo our Mexican consul's, Victor Trevino's words when he says that he cannot do this without his staff. I'd like to thank my office staff and every city director and city employee that works for the city, because without them, I wouldn't have gotten that applause. They've helped me so much. Commissioner Longoria mentions my family, and some of you have mentioned my family. Thank you very much. That means a lot. My family means a lot. What I do is a reflection on them. I want them to be proud of me always. The saddest thing that has occurred since I've been here is my dad passed away. And I always look to my parents for guidance as far as what I do and how I handle things. And I've always wanted them to be proud of me. Even though I was 51 years old, I still want to be proud of me. So I appreciate all the kind words. And I'm very proud to work for the city of Brownsville. It's an all-American city. I think we're achieving very special things right now. And I promise you that will continue. Thank you.
Congratulations.
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 All right, we're going to move to item 8.
Item 8, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2007-1475 to provide tax incentives in the form of a tax abatement to T-Mobile USA.
Jason?
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners, tonight we have a proposed ordinance on tax abatements. This ordinance is a revision of a previous ordinance that has been in the books. I will discuss the T-Mobile tax abatements ordinance, but I believe, Mayor, that the guidelines and the criteria need to be approved first, and I'll.
Is that number 7?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go to number 7 then, Stella.
Item number 7, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2007-1474 to renew and revise tax abatement guidelines and criteria for enterprises in reinvestment zones and dealing with related matters.
And Mayor, again, this ordinance is proposed to expire on June 6, 2012. It's a 5-year ordinance. The previous one has already expired, and the previous one was a little bit more harder to read, harder to calculate. With this ordinance, which has been reviewed by our city attorney, it's a little bit clearer, like I'll answer a little bit clearer. Let me just briefly summarize them. In this proposed ordinance, it has for 5 and 10-year abatements. This, the base value is never eligible for abatement. That means when somebody applies for an abatement, that base value that exists will never be abated. In the 5-year abatement, companies are eligible if they hire 250 employees and above. Wages should be at $10 an hour or greater. They should offer comprehensive benefits available to its employees, at least 75% cost paid by the employer. Investment in land, building, and infrastructure should be greater or must be greater than $10 million. The company should utilize the Brownsville Utilities Board services, and the abatement will begin with year 1, a 75% abatement, going to year 2 of 50%, year 3, 50%, year 4, 50%, and year 5, 25%. For the 10-year abatement criteria, the company must hire 500 and plus employees, offer wages of $10 or more, offer again comprehensive benefits with 75% of those benefits paid by the employer. The investment of land should be greater than $10 million or a building or infrastructure that they will be doing. The company should also get services from the Brownsville Public Utilities Board. The 10-year abatement averaging 50% during the life of the abatement, but no more than 100%. In this particular abatement, we begin with 80% abatement, and then going to year 2 of 70%. Years 3 through 7 is 50%. Year 8, 30%. Year 9, 30%, and year 10, 20%. If the enterprise fails to meet the criteria in any year for the 5 or 10 years, then the agreement will become null and void. That means that they would start paying 100% of their taxes. If the enterprise ceases operations during the life of the agreement, it will become null and void with callback of the taxes that had been abated. Even if the enterprise is eligible for tax abatement, of course, this is the case by case. We will come before the City Commission and ask for an agreement for abatement. It's not automatic. So this is in summary, Mayor and City Commissioners, this ordinance 1474. And I believe GBI, the Brownsville Economic Development staff is here if you would like to ask them.
Anybody have any questions? Oh, hold on, Mr. Ruiz. You'll get a chance to speak. You will. I'm asking the commission if anybody has any specific questions of Mr. Medina or Mr. Holt. No? Step forward, Mr. Ruiz. This is a public hearing.
Mayor, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Fernando Ruiz. I have been trying to research the issue because in item number 8, as I had referred to Mr. Medina, I feel that there is a conflict of interest in the process due to the fact that the Brownsville Economic Development Corporation, one of its board members was Mr. Hudson. And in the structuring of the package for T-Mobile, I feel that we need a type of a committee to oversee what legislation or ordinance we're going to pass, that what is being presented has to be reviewed by, I would say, I would like to review it. I would like for you all to table the item so that I could have more time to look at it, to study it, and maybe form a committee to oversee these matters. We have experience with the Brownsville Economic Development Corporation, and it has been negative ever since I can remember, when the first UDAG grant was issued to Gulf Mart, Eagle International, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So this the department has to be reviewed and has to be studied, because what is being presented, and if we look at the concessions that are being given, and we have to think, you know, that we have to hold an interest in the public trust also. We need to review this thing, because I myself have been reviewing the contract between Hudson Farms and the city of Brownsville, and I'm very disappointed in some of the issues that were addressed without any consideration for the constituency and the public interest. So I would like for you all to table this item and let us, the Citizens Former Committee, to more or less see if we're on the right track. If you're on the right track, you know you have our blessings. But we need more time to oversee these things, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Ruiz, I can guarantee you that this city commission over the last 3.5 years have made sure that what happened back then with Hudson Farms and with the impact that it has on this community will never happen again. That's why our directors have been instructed to look closely at all of these types of agreements.
Mr. Longoria, I have no doubt, sir, as to your integrity or the commission's integrity in subject matter. I am a student, sir, of political sciences, and I address these things, and I study very hard, sir, because just like you here in your office, I do not hold a public office, but my heart is in Brownsville. I am from Brownsville, sir, and for the people of Brownsville. And I just want to make sure, sir, that the thing's being done right. I have just a little bit of question mark there because of Mr. Hudson being in the board.
Let me quickly address that, Mr. Reese. You made comment that Mr. Hudson was on the board of GBIC, and obviously GBIC is involved with regards to this particular program. Mr. Hudson left the board of GBIC back in the fall, September or October. He was not involved whatsoever with regards to GBIC's decision in the incentive package and the bringing of T-Mobile. Obviously, he was involved in the land because they liked his location, but that had nothing at all to do with GBIC. I would agree with you if Mr. Hudson had been on and would not have been involved in the decision-making for GBIC, but he was not. I just want to make sure that that's clear.
Sir, thank you, sir. You know, I'm aware of all these things, and you know, I just feel that we need a little bit more time to review this. I myself need a bit more time. I need to study this matter, and I want to make sure that everything is on the up and up. Thank you very much.
Mayor, I just wanted to comment. If we look at the actual resolution and the ordinance, the way it was X years ago.
Used to be 100%.
Exactly. It was 100% tax abatement. This new ordinance has a lot of teeth to it, because what it does is it helps the city. We don't lose anything. We actually gain. We become more competitive for future and incoming businesses that want to do business in Brownsville and want to seek a tax abatement. So as before, if we wanted to make a deal, it was 100%, which means city wouldn't get anything. Well, now it's a lot different. And I think, and I want to thank Ben and Jason Hiltz and Jim Goza for being able to compile an ordinance, put together this ordinance, and develop it in a way that helps the city of Brownsville. And obviously, the taxpayers, because, again, we rely on these taxes, but I think this ordinance means a lot. I think it's going to do a lot for us, and it's going to help us, again, with our economic development, which is critical to changing this community.
Sir, I will address economic development, and it has been a failure in the city of Brownsville, okay? And you want me to start with Taylorcraft and reverse to Titan and reverse to UDAG and to Eagle International and to the plant that was there that didn't even have a license to fabricate buses? Sir, all I'm asking is for time to review this. Now, you know, there's a lot of money involved in this matter. And, you know, we have already had negative experiences. So I'm just asking for the commission to table this matter so that I can look at it more closely and discuss it.
Are you aware of any of, you always mention the failures over the last few years, and some of those, I got to tell you, I'm not even familiar with, so they obviously go back way before BEDC or GBIC was ever formed. But in any event, are you familiar at all with any of the successes that BEDC's had over the last several years? Are you familiar with them?
Sir, I'm addressing the subject because.
You just said
of
right
the-
now
of the
that all we've
nature
had
of
is,
the business, sir.
no, let me stop you, because you want everybody to believe that all we've had are failures at BEDC. That's how you answered Commissioner Camarillo.
Sir,
And I asked you a
alleging
question.
something. Can
I
you
asked you
read
a
my
simple
mind?
question. I asked you a simple
I'm
question.
from Brownsville, sir. I've been here all my life.
We heard that part.
Okay, well, let me repeat it again. I've been here all my life. I've served this country, and I love this country.
Are you
And I love
familiar
the city.
with any of
And
the
I'm just asking for
successes?
more time to review.
My
Don't question
question-
my integrity, and don't question me about positive or negative.
you
I want the
familiar-
best for Brownsville. What you should do is
Really?
learn to build bridges with the people of Brownsville.
Okay.
Not only with your brother over there or your cousin in Matamoros. Build them with the people here. You need to build bridges with us because we're the constituency. And before you
Are
go
you-
to the exterior, take care of your business at home
Right.
first.
Are you familiar with any of the
Of
successes
course I'm
at
familiar,
BEDC?
sir. I'm from
You are?
Brownsville. I've been here all my life.
Well, have there been any
Has there been any
over the
successes
last 4 years?
in the last 4 years?
Yeah.
You tell me, sir.
No, I'm asking you. All you're stuck is on is failures.
Of course there have been some
Okay,
successes.
all right.
But I mean, I'm here because I'm addressing a problem. The successes, I recognize them, and I have always recognized the board and the people that have done this for Brownsville, or whatever they've done for Brownsville. But we have a lot of negatives, and I'm just trying to say, we need to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
This document, this ordinance, this new ordinance is not doesn't set us back. And in fact, this mayor has been probably more progressive. And I'm so glad that we've had him, Mr. Reese, for the past 4 years and the things that he's done. And I commend him, and I think the citizens of Brownsville would have had him back here if he wanted to run again. So on that note, I support this mayor and what he does. I support this ordinance. And if Mr. Hiltz has anything else to say, I think he should come and address the group.
Sir,
But
I think there's a conflict of interest, so you better check the law.
Thank you, sir. This is a public hearing. Are there any other comments? All right.
I have a question of
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Mr. Medina. May, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Garza asked what were the difference between the previous ordinance and this
Oh.
ordinance. Basically, I guess it was the most important thing, as Commissioner Camarillo mentioned, it's not 100%. The second thing, the other ordinance was very complicated. It was written where it was a
Vague.
basic mathematical formula based on employees, based on the investment that you have. There was no callback procedures. So that's why, Titan was able, as I can mention, that company, they got their 100% abatement because they had invested so much money into the project. And yes, they did. The building is in good shape. It's usable, but there's no employees. So they were able still to take advantage of those abatements. So with this ordinance, I guess, it's very clear that if you do not, any year, it could be third year, second year, if you do not meet the benchmarks, then the agreement's null and void, you go back to 100%. So I think those are the key factors.
Thank you.
Because of those prior experiences where things didn't turn out well, BEDC and GBIC have learned from that. And this ordinance, along with all of the incentive packages over the last several years, have given a lot more protection to the citizens of Brownsville. But if you get up to bat, you're not always going to hit a home run, and there have been a few. But the problem is nobody knows about all the successes that we've had. Over the last 4 years, now with this announcement and one that's shortly forthcoming, we will have gotten commitments for over 7,000 new jobs. Our unemployment rate is nearly half of what it was 4 years ago. It was at about 9.5%. It's under 6%. It's about 5.7%. Those are things that people need to realize. We're in competition with Jackson, with the state of Mississippi and South Carolina for this T-Mobile Center. This is a very progressive company with good paying jobs, a lot of jobs for our citizens and the citizens of South Texas. So this is a great deal. It's going to attract more and more Fortune 100 and Fortune 150s like T-Mobile to Brownsville. So this is, any other public hearing? If not, we can close that.
Move to close.
Motion to close by Commissioner Arroyo.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Action.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Arroyo. Seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, now item 8.
Would you like for me to read that again?
Yes, go ahead and read it again.
Item 8, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2007-1475 to provide tax incentives in the form of a tax abatement to T-Mobile USA.
Honorable Mayor and City Commission, this is again another ordinance. And I may also point out that both of these ordinances have a first and second reading. with this particular ordinance, as you may know, T-Mobile, located in Brownsville, has applied and for a 10-year tax abatement agreement. I have prepared a chart that I would like to briefly go over with you. Again, Mr. Garza had asked for some information, and he said, well, how much actually are we abating? At this time, I'm using the numbers that T-Mobile has provided in terms of their investment. We begin, and as I mentioned in the criteria, the baseline is never abated. I mean, that's 100%.
And so that there's clear understanding, in other words, what they're paying right now, they're going to continue to pay at least that amount.
That's correct.
And this facility that's going to house these 700-plus individuals, they've already begun construction. It's about a 78,000 square feet facility, approximately $17 million invested to build that structure, right?
That's correct. And this is what I have here in my chart. And in this particular chart, we begin with the 1.5, and that's what we got from the appraisal district as how much the land is worth. So that's the baseline value. And then you take the 17.5 investment that they have provided in terms of information. And, this is approximate. If they finish their building and it's worth more, well, then these numbers will, of course, change. This is just an example. And the value then, you subtract the 1.5 from the 17.5, is $16 million. This is in thousands. $16 million is the first year that they're eligible for abatement. You take our tax rate, and that's how much in taxes they'll be generated, $104,000. We're abating 80% only. So it means they will only get an abatement of $8,300. They will pay the city of Brownsville $2,100. And that's the first year. And of course, the second year, they would pay the city of Brownsville, they would generate $120,000, because here I'm assuming that the second year, the Cameron County Appraisal District will come up with a new appraisal. This is, and in this particular case, it's 70%. So they'll get abated $8,400, pay the city of Brownsville $3,600. Then, of course, as I mentioned in the ordinance, then you get 50%. So in here, the city and T-Mobile gets 50% abatement, the city gets $6,000, and then it starts decreasing. Here, in this year 8, the city of Brownsville will get $8,400, and T-Mobile will only be abated $3,600, and then it goes to the 20%. So here you see it graphically. You can see that in the last year, it's pretty much city collecting most of its taxes versus year 1. So in summary, this is how much money, Mr. Garza, you had a question regarding is being abated. So I would ask Mr. Hiltz also got an impact statement, an economic impact statement as to how much impact T-Mobile would have even with this abatement. So you may want to elaborate on that.
It averages it out at 50%, Commissioner, over the 5 or 10 year, depending on the particular. This one is a 10-year.
Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, good evening.
Welcome, Mr. Hiltz.
When we were started working with T-Mobile and started understanding their project, we asked a firm out of Austin to conduct an economic impact study for us, looking at the 700 jobs being created, looking at the benefits, which are tremendous. So you look at the wages that the company is committing to is $10.50 an hour, plus you add another 35% to that in benefit packages which are offering, such as full medical coverage, $5,100 a year in tuition reimbursement for those employees that want to go and further their education, daycare subsidies, discounted phone services, and it goes on and on and on. In looking at the impact study, they are committing to create 700 jobs in 2.5 years. If you look at the direct, indirect, and induced jobs that are created because of these 700 jobs coming into town, you're looking at a total job creation in the community of 1,171 people. That's direct and indirect people working in the community. If you look at the salaries to be paid to the direct and indirect workers, and this is over a 10-year period, we're looking at $398 million in total payroll to be paid in the Brownsville community for these over 1,000 employees. And when T-Mobile comes into a community, they commit to a certain amount, but normally they exceed that number by 100 to 150 people. But they're willing to commit to 700 jobs. And they're committing to have those jobs in place within 2.5 years. Also, if you look at the taxable sales that will come from them being in this community, the employees spending their money, you're looking at over $131 million in a 10-year period in taxable sales flowing through the Brownsville community. If you look at the net benefit to the BISD, as you know, when new property tax is added, or new property is added to the tax roll, the state reduces the amount of funding to the local school district. This will add value to the community. The state will reduce funding to the BISD, but the total net benefit is $2.5 million over a 10-year period. Even though reducing money from the state, the school district will still have a net benefit of $2.5 million. So the overall impact on this community is great. And the name T-Mobile says a lot, and it brings a lot of notice to this community. And I'd just like to let you know, when T-Mobile came into town, they came in with the Starbuck Company. Starbuck Company is the one that took the lead on this project. And when they came into the community, they asked to look at numerous sites. They traveled throughout the community. They looked at sites along the expressway on Central Boulevard. They looked at sites close to the Veterans Bridge, Paseo de Oaxaca. They chose the site in which they wanted to purchase. We have no influence, no say in that. They go out and buy and select the site that they want.
Did we offer the buildings that we have at the airport?
They showed them. They showed them.
They looked at the airport as well. They looked at existing buildings at ITEC. They looked at the old Kmart building. They looked at the Albertsons building. They looked at buildings at the airport. After they reviewed the buildings, they said, well, we'd rather build our own building and invest in the community because they wanted a first-class, Class A facility, and those other buildings did not fit their requirements.
Thank you.
So by doing this, we get a brand-new facility at over 17 million. So that's the commitment that I think everybody needs to be aware of. It's not a short-term lease. I mean, they're spending their money to be here in Brownsville. It's a very good sign long-term.
Yeah. Million. Yeah. How long will it take, after the 10 years, how long will it take Brownsville to recoup the money that we're going to be paying out?
The impact
Well,
analysis.
hold on a second, Jason. We're not paying out. Remember, we don't have this money right now. So if they weren't here, we wouldn't be.
I understand.
There's got to be a fundamental train of thought here that this is a different way of doing business. It's better than 100%. But I understand what your question is. But we need to make sure we're not losing, we're gaining.
But I'd like to answer it as well. The impact study shows that the return on investment will be 9.7% for the money being provided to T-Mobile for the creation of jobs. And the payback period is 10.3 years on that 9.7% return.
Thanks, sir.
It's a good investment.
Any other questions?
Move to close, Mayor.
This is a public hearing.
Second.
Would you like to add anything? Go ahead and step forward, Mr. Reese, so that way everybody can hear you. We don't want you. You can step up to the microphone.
For this T-Mobile to have approach, but I have seen the construction there. There's a lot of infrastructure being built there. Who's going to pay for that, Mr. Hills? The citizens of Brownsville, under the municipal utility district clause, or what?
They're investing all their money into the site. They're doing it themselves.
They're doing this themselves?
Yes, sir.
Because I also would like to address the matter that, you know,
Mr. Reese, speaking to the mic.
I live in the area, and I was not notified by the Planning and Zoning Commission that we were going to have this plant here built, and I live within the, what is it, the area, Mr. Medina, the radius? Huh? 200 feet, sir? I beg your pardon, sir. I have been addressing other matters, and it's not 200 feet. But anyway, let's say it's 200 feet. Did you notify the homeowners that you were going to put this plant there? Are you aware that 108,000 cars pass by there every day? And now we're going to have 700 more people there? The reason they have a signal light there, because I insisted, the highway department, I was calling the city, Mr. Kavler, we need a signal light here because we're going to have a terrible accident. Now you get 700 more people in there, and we have 108,000 going by there every day, plus 500 homes in the back. And you tell me if we're not going to have a problem with the traffic. The situation has not been addressed concerning the zoning of that area. It has to be looked at because I think there's a discrepancy there. And like I say, I don't have anything with growth. I want to grow, but I want to do it the right way.
Oh, but not by where you live.
I live everywhere, sir, everywhere.
But you live
This is
near-
not the first time I address a thing like this.
You live near this area where the
I
plant's
live
gonna be
there,
built.
and I was not notified by the planning and zoning, sir, that now it's 200 feet. It used to be more than that, but well, things change, you know, and I'm not up to date with all the new
Ben,
laws.
could you answer that question, please?
The property was zoned appropriately for this type of business, so there was no zoning change. The plat did go before the Planning and Zoning Commission. It was advertised in the paper, and it was reviewed by an sundry of professionals, traffic engineers, et cetera. So it was approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Mr. Reese, because of the fact that there was no zoning change, that's why you did not receive a notice.
Ma'am, I was looking for the original plat for that area today and researching it because I just found out about this last Saturday, or when they had the groundbreaking. So I have not had time, you know, I had an appointment at the VA hospital today, and I didn't go because to me this was most important than my health. I need to do things right, and they're not doing things right. So it's also the job of this commission and Mr. Kabler here to check it out. The things that I come and bring to you is so that you can look at them and oversee that the things are being, I don't come to challenge you. I'm saying, hey, this is what I found out. I told Mr. Medina about that also. I know that it's not 200 feet because I have had other experiences in other areas and people that I have represented. And I know that you have a radius and it's more than 200 feet. I don't know why it's 200 feet now, but I want to request to this commission to just take one more look at it, please. There are some things that have to be addressed, and traffic is another one of the factors. 108,000 cars pass by there every day. This is in Mr. Hudson's promotional in the Paseo de la Resaca. He's the one that established that number, not I. Plus, we have the schools, Vela, and we have 500 homes back there. Now, bring me some more. Where are we headed for? I don't know. But, you know, like you, sir, I'm tired also, you know.
Let me ask you, Jim
I'm just trying to do
Goza.
what's right.
And I respect your opinion, and I'm not getting upset with you, Mr. Reese. But unfortunately, sometimes, and you asked some very good questions. That's why some of this information has been addressed. Now, whether you were personally kept in the loop or not, probably not. It's impossible. But that's why we're doing this today, and we appreciate your questions today, and we'll try to address them. But trust me, this is what's good for Brownsville. It's good, but it's not going to be without a price. Progress has a price.
Sure. Progress has a price, and other things have prices too. And we have a price on our community. We have children there. We have no parks. You know, these parks or whatever. This is why I wanted to see the master plan. Because in the master plan, an area was designed for parks and this, and I've noticed, I think, that they didn't follow through. In the introduction of the whole I've studied everything from zero. From the introduction of when they wanted to form MUD 3, they wanted to add 1 and 2, and then they put a little phrase there, also electric and things like that. There's so many things, you know, that have not been addressed, you see. And just one of them, to give you an example, that area there belonged to CP&L under CP&L's jurisdiction concerning utilities. How PUB came to get it, I don't know. I'm still looking for the answer, you know. So these are the little things that bother me, you know, because now I have to pay the PUB instead of CP&L. CP&L is deregulated, PUB is not, you know, and things like that. But the question is there. What caused the transition to occur?
You're not a,
Okay.
you're
There's
not
so
a-
many issues to address, sir.
Fernando, you're not a PUB customer?
Yeah, I am, but
Oh, you are.
what I'm trying to say is that the jurisdiction of that area and Cameron Park and all that used to belong to CPNL. Now, how they got this transferred or whatever, I don't know. Still trying to find out, you see. There's a lot of questions that I have concerning this municipal District 3 and Ad 1 and 2 when there were not, you know. It's something that I'm studying right now, and I addressed the master plan. I even went to the courthouse today searching for it. I was not able to obtain it because it's not all in one piece, you know. This is a big project, you know. It's such a big project, and it's not all there together, and I was unable to follow through and get the information that I wanted to bring to you. But I think that really, I wish you all would take another look at it.
Thank you, Mr. Reese.
Let me ask you, Jim, real quick, could we table it and would it hurt anything if we do?
I don't see any reason why on earth you don't want to. It's not the signal you want to send to this company that's in making this investment in our community for 700 plus jobs.
Yeah. Okay.
And if people want to keep
Agree.
settling for minimum wage job without benefits and hoping that maybe somebody will come down here and maybe we'll get lucky and have a company like this make a commitment to our community, there's been a lot of hope without any result. You have to go out and work for it, and that's exactly what happened here.
Sir, we don't have the infrastructure.
You know, there'd been some other company that was gonna come in and build radiators or alternators or something. I'd have my doubts, but, you know, with the growing market in the cell phone business and its market, you know, this, and with the structure that's been presented, I really don't have a problem. I share some of Mr. Ruiz's concerns, and Mr. Hiltz, I'll be setting up a meeting with you this summer because there are some concerns that I would like addressed and some answers to be some questions to be answered. But, you know, I really don't see this as a losing situation. I can guarantee you that we will look into the traffic issue. I'll speak to Robert Esparza, as I'm sure some of us will, and we'll address it.
Commissioner Robert is looking at the traffic issue there. We understand there'll be more traffic there. It is a state highway, and state highway signed off on this permit. And we are looking at the designation and the sequence of the lighting system. Understand that for example, HEB, which is nearby, is also gonna expand, make the store bigger. So we're addressing that right now.
And just to let you know, Mr. Reese, I've met with Mr. Hiltz too, right after this Taylor Craft stuff and Titan Tires. These guys are fast learners too, and they're rewriting as they go too. So a lot of this stuff is set up, geared because of what happened in the negatives. There's been a lot of positives, but because of the negatives, I strongly believe that these guys at the BEDC have structured it a lot better so we don't go back and see anything like that anymore. And they've showed me what they've done and how they've changed it, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. And I feel your concerns too, but, you know, I mean, this is something positive for Brownsville. And don't think we're not looking into what you're looking into either. That one?
And just so we're clear, Titan was 1997, 1996, 1997. So that is 10 years ago. All right, public hearing.
Litigation. Move to close.
We're still in litigation.
Motion to close by Commissioner Camarillo, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Action.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Camarillo,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, let's go back to item 4.
Item 4, public hearing and action on resolution number 2007-029 to authorize the filing of a grant application with the Federal Transit Administration for the Urbanized Area Formula Program for capital planning and operating assistance for fiscal year 2007.
Stella, before we move on, let me just advise the public, Commissioner Cisneros had to leave because of his daughter's graduation this evening from Hannah High School. You want to make sure that that's why he had to leave this meeting. All right, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, and members of the public. During the presentation, I'll briefly talk about the Section 5307 grant program and the city's allocation for fiscal year 2007. I'll go over the capital planning and operating requests that we have, for this grant program and the local match required. After the presentation, we can take comments from the public, and when you're ready to close the public hearing, you can take action on the resolution that'll authorize the city manager to submit the grant application and execute a grant agreement. Which is one page. Okay, this grant application is a yearly requirement that for the city to access its share of the federal grant funds for capital, planning, and operating assistance. It's not a competitive grant. The funds are allocated by Congress on an annual basis, and the allocation is published in the Federal Register. The federal funds for cities with a population under 200,000 are appointed to the governor, who has the authority to reallocate the funds. In Texas, our governor authorizes TxDOT to distribute the funds. This year, our allocation was $2,734,539. Because other areas in the state declined part of their allocation, TxDOT redistributed those, and so our...
Alex, why would an entity decline?
There are
Because of the...
communities that might not have local match or are not interested in providing public transportation. So we got a little bit more. We got about a little less than 50,000 more was our total allocation. Activities that are eligible are capital, planning, and operating expenses. Each type requires a different level of federal match. For capital projects, it requires a 20% non-federal match. So for every dollar in federal funds that we get, the city has to contribute $1. Our proposal includes 6 capital projects. The first is purchasing a heavy-duty transit bus. We want to replace one of our vehicles in the fleet. One of the nice thing about this particular capital project is that if it's equipped with equipment that makes it ADA accessible or accessible to folks with disabilities, then our federal match is only 17%. I mean, our non-federal match is only 17% as opposed to 20. So we're taking advantage of that. The next 2 capital projects, preventive maintenance and paratransit operations, will take advantage of some federal rules that allow us to capitalize what are normally considered operating expenses. FTA matches operating expense at 50-50, so this will allow us to save a little bit. For preventive maintenance, usually that's an operating expense, but we're able to charge all of it, capitalize all of that expense. And for paratransit operations, we're allowed to capitalize a portion of our allocation. Three other capital projects include rehabilitation and renovation of our facilities. This will be for our maintenance and bus yard and administrative facility. It's about 30 years old, and we have a list of improvements that we need to make, so we always try to allocate some funding for that. Same thing for bus stop improvements. We have over 1,000 bus stops, designated bus stops in the city, or not over, but around 1,000. So every year we try to allocate funds to improve those, put shelters, benches, etc. And finally, surveillance equipment. We want to equip our vehicles with surveillance equipment. We're required to allocate at least 1% of this grant towards security improvements, and so this will allow us, and we'll meet that requirement by equipping our vehicles with security, these cameras, which is very beneficial. We can record incidents that occur, helps a lot with investigations, etc. The next category of funding is planning. We have 3 planning projects. It's also 80-20 match. The first one is that we'd like to, it's for the Transit Development Plan. It's a comprehensive planning document that is usually developed by a consultant. Once it's complete, it'll include recommendations for system improvements, both short and long range, for both short and long range implementation, and it'll serve as a guide for improving our bus system and making future funding requests. Next project is short range transit planning. This is also an annual allocation that we make. It's for planning activities that are done on a daily basis, like monitoring our routes and making adjustments. And finally, there's travel. The funds will be used for expenses related to training and professional development. The third category is operating assistance. Operating assistance requires a 50% non-federal match. We're proposing to allocate $1,155,000 in federal funds. Below here, I have the sources and amounts for the non-federal match. We were able to get a couple of new agencies to help contribute to our operating expenses this year. We continue to try to do that because at the state level, our match amount seems to be decreasing every year, so we're forced to make up for that shortfall, and so we've been trying to address that by going to other organizations and trying to get their contribution. And this year, Cameron Works and Cameron County have both decided to contribute. This table just gives a breakdown of where the funding will come from and the amounts.
Alex, I'm so sorry.
No.
But that contribution was for a specific project,
Yes.
not necessarily for buses operations.
Which
I mean,
contribution?
credit is given to where credit is due, yes. We appreciate the partnership and Cameron Works but a lot of that had to do with them moving the facility and us having to transport people to the new facility.
It's true, but that's absolutely right. There was a reason for that contribution. However, we're able to capture that as local match for this project, so it benefits us as well in that regard.
Alex, real quick, sorry to interrupt, but based on that, like 2, 3, 4 months ago, what was the ridership in that route? When it first started out, what was the daily ridership?
Which
On
one are you
that
talking about?
route,
At the ITEC to
right.
the main terminal?
I think it was about 250
Okay.
passengers.
And now how many?
Well, our planner said that yesterday we carried 250 passengers, about 250. So it's increased significantly. Last month it was about 1,500 passengers. So it seems to be improving, which is good. So I have the breakdown here. I won't read off all the numbers, but you can see that the city's total contribution for this grant will be a little under $900,000. The federal share, of course, is over $2.7 million. It's a total project of over $4.3 million. In our fiscal year 2007 budget for the city, we budgeted over $1.3 million, so fortunately we won't have to request an amendment to the budget. It's budgeted. Okay, one of the requirements for submitting this grant application is to hold a public hearing. The purpose of the public hearing is to obtain views from the citizens on the proposed program of projects and the performance of bus. Public hearing notice was included, that included the proposed budget with brief descriptions of the program, was published in the legal notices section of the classified ads in the Brownsville Herald on May 20th. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer those.
Any other questions? All right, this is a public hearing.
Would you close?
Second.
Motion to close by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Action. Motion to approve by Commissioner Camarillo.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 5.
Item 5, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2007-018-S to allow a medium commercial specific use lumber yard in a general retail 4C classification for Lot 1, Block 1 of McCoy West Brownsville subdivision located near US 281 and FM 802.
Honorable Mayor and City Commission, this is the area shaded in red. This FM 802 and US 281 Military Highway here. This is Laredo Road here. In this particular case, this is a specific use where McCoy's Corporation would like to create their second store in Brownsville. It would be a modern store. It won't be a metal building. It would be brick. It would have additional landscaping along FM 802. The front part of their property facing 281 will be made available to other businesses wanting to locate there. This is a public hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission voted unanimously to approve this application.
This is a public hearing.
Move to close?
Motion to close by Commissioner Arroyo.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Longoria. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Action.
Approve.
Motion
Second.
approved by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.
Item 6, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 235-2007-019-S to allow a light commercial specific use car lot in a general retail 4C classification for Block 65 of Paredes Tract, addition located near Expressway 7783 and 13th Street.
Honorable Mayor and City Commission, this is 13th Street here, the area that is shaded in red. In this particular case, the applicant would like to have a used car lot. This is a specific use. It was unanimously approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
This is a public hearing.
Move to close.
Motion to close by Commissioner Longoria,
Second.
second by Commissioner Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Action.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by
Second.
Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item
8.
Item 9.
Number 9.
Item 9, public hearing and action to reprogram and award $23,202 of 32nd year Community Development Block Grant funds to the City of Brownsville Parks Department to conduct a summer activity program at 235 Tyler Street.
Honorable Mayor, this is a public hearing to reprogram and award $23,202 of the 32nd year Community Development Block Grant funds to the City of Brownsville Parks Department to conduct a summer activity program. The Brownsville Citizens Advisory Committee have reviewed this project, and they unanimously approved this allocation.
Another quick question, where does the majority of the 23 go towards?
This would be for equipment, balls, games, cards, et cetera, to run a summer program beginning tomorrow.
Commissioner, what this is going to
Greatly
be
needed.
is similar to what the Boys Club would do
Correct.
for summer rec for the kids. Now we're going to be holding it through Chris Patterson and through the old Boys
Correct.
Club building.
No, they're doing a great job and it's needed out there
Ben,
for the
also
youth.
thank you to the committee for having met again.
Yes.
And please express our sentiment towards them and thanking them for meeting once again and being able to address this kind of an issue so that our children will be able to have something, to enjoy this summer when they visit the facility.
I will do that.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing.
Move
to
approve.
close.
Motion to close
Close, sorry.
by Commissioner Longoria,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Action.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 10.
Item 10, public hearing and action on the closing of the railroad crossings located on West Elizabeth Street near intersection of West 18th Street, rail crossing on West Elizabeth Street near the intersection of West 16th Street, and rail crossing on the South Frontage Road near the intersection of Hannah Drive and behind the area identified as the Salt Pond on city's maps.
Honorable Mayor and City Commission, as you may know, we've been trying to develop Morrison Road, the second phase. That's from Alton Glore to the area behind Academy or Home Depot. That section, right in the railroad dissects this roadway. Unfortunately, we cannot cross that rail line unless the Union Pacific gives us a permit. The policy of the railroad company is that the city of Brownsville has to close 3 crossings before they would grant a permit to cross that line, and we would be able to build that road. Through engineering, Mr. Lastra, and through our consultant, Mr. John Hudson, 3 crossings have been identified. This is a public hearing because we need to notify people that currently use these crossings. If you can go to the crossings map, please. And with the permit, of course, we would be able to cross the rail line here. You know, this is Morrison Road, and this is the railroad here. So, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let me go to the. These are the first 2 crossings that we have identified. As you can see from our map here, and let me orient you a little bit. This is West Brownsville. This is Elizabeth Street coming down here, and West Elizabeth going up to the intersection of Boca Chica, or 281. There's a light right here. The first 2 crossings, and this is a railroad line here.
Which one's Boca Chica?
Boca Chica is this
Yeah,
yellow
okay,
one
all right.
here. And this is, there's a little curve there that always has water in it when it rains. And then,
Thanks for that, Ben.
yes, and this will help alleviate it a little bit, but this, we're doing this in phases, okay?
Yeah.
And this is the first
Let's
phase.
stay focused on what we're talking about here, okay?
Okay. And in order to get to that, that situation, but we need to do this first. And this is the first crossing here. There's a crossing here and a crossing here. These are limited crossings. They serve the residents here in this neighborhood here. What the city engineer, Mr. Hudson, and planning staff have seen that the city of Brownsville will improve this roadway that will serve them, that they will have access to 281 or Boca Chica. But we proposed, and the public hearing here tonight is to close this one and this crossing here. And there's another map with the third one, please. The third one is right behind the flea market. And there's the flea market stalls right here. This one was identified by the railroad company. It was maybe in the early 1900s. There used to be a crossing here, no longer used by anybody here. So there is a third crossing that is being proposed to be closed. There are some, I've talked to a lady this afternoon, and they're here. They're concerned about the crossings in West Brownsville.
The first 2.
The first 2.
On Elizabeth.
Go to the map, please. On Elizabeth, because how
are they going to?
There is a neighborhood here. The city, Mr. Lastra, will improve this roadway here, maybe a chip seal, and they would have access to 281 and Boca Chica. So they would have direct access to this. There is an easement here, a recorded easement. So
They would only be able to get to it from Boca Chica?
Boca Chica. Right now, they have this one and this other one. Well, this one and this other one down south here.
Why can't?
Those are the 2. Those are the 3 mayors that have been identified by the consultant and staff proposed crossings.
The problem that I see with this is, let's just say you're coming, west on Boca Chica. You're not going to be able to turn left there because that traffic, let's just say, is at a stop, let's say, going eastbound on Boca Chica, right? No, you're going west on Boca Chica, going over Elizabeth. Yeah, go on the other side of Boca Chica. I can't see what that thing on top says.
So this is 281, this is Boca Chica.
Yeah, right there. Okay, start where were you right now? There you go. Somebody's going that way. They want to get home. Where are they going to be able to turn left there?
There's an access right there.
But let's just for argument's sake say that there's traffic right there. You're going to have literally 2 left turns right after one another? Because let's say somebody wants to turn left on Elizabeth. Well, they'll do that, right? Yeah. But he doesn't want to turn left, so he goes around, he gets right in front of the other one. You're right past the intersection, and depending on what sequence of lights are in, you either have stall traffic waiting for the light to turn, which he can't get in, Or you got traffic going on,
Yeah, well, they have to cross the tracks.
well, yeah,
They have to cross tracks, and then they'll have to turn left on there.
into the axis, or are they gonna do a U-turn and then have?
Into the axis. The axis is perpendicular to Boca Chica.
It's already existing.
Yeah, it's existing.
I understand, I understand it's already existing, but right now, well, let me ask you, are anybody here, están aquí de ese barrio? My question is, are they utilizing, is that how they're getting to it right now?
Yeah, man, and it kills your tires.
That's
I went
what I'm
through the-
saying, I mean,
That's one way, yes, ma'am.
well, okay, hold on, sir, hold on. If you could step to the mic, if you could give us your name and.
Florencio Cárdenas.
Okay, Cárdenas?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Cárdenas, go ahead.
We only got that, those two roads that they want to block, we can only go in that way or that other way, which is the only, so if they block those roads, we're only gonna have one way to go in or out. In the case of an emergency, what are we gonna do? If like you were saying a while ago, if the traffic is blocked over there,
What about on the other side of the neighborhood?
there's no other entrance.
Is there any, is there anything to be done there?
It's dead end.
Well, I mean, could it be opened?
No, there's, the back of that port right there is a wildlife refuge.
What I'm saying, but wherever wherever your neighborhood ends, there's no easement, possibilities?
The only way you go in either, on either one of those roads that they want to close.
Right.
That's the only way to go in, or the other one that, in other words, if they block those two entrances right there, we're not gonna have but one way to go in or out.
Is that true, Lastra?
And then after Boca Chica. So if we close those two, they'll be able to go in and out through Boca Chica.
It'll be a dead end.
Yes, ma'am. They won't let you go in.
That's
And
my
I've been-
concern.
I've been there when that happens.
Yeah, coming from 281, not a problem, because you just turn right in. Or if
Right.
you want to turn right, not a problem. But if you want to turn left, it's going to be hard, and if you want to turn left coming in.
And then on top of that, if there's an emergency, like we had an emergency there the other day, and I mean, what if the road would have been blocked?
I mean, it's a coincidence, but traffic was stalled because of the railroad. There was an emergency in their neighborhood. I'm taking that side road. I don't
You
know how
what?
y'all
All
have
right,
lasted with your cars.
Okay, and I know this won't appease you, but the rail relocation project, okay? And it's gonna happen. The money on our side has been allocated. It's gonna happen. So this might be a situation that you have to live with for a little while longer, but once the rail's out of that area, right, Ben, this is part of the West Rail relocation. Then that won't be a problem. You'll have access again at some point.
That's what my concern was. When they build the road, are we all gonna have access to the main road?
Well, okay, what the situation is, they're not necessarily building you a big, another road. We're building another road.
I know.
Okay, you unfortunately are gonna pay the price, literally, for everybody else for that other road to be built right now, so that road can benefit 100,000 people. You all are gonna take the brunt of it right now because of the access issue. Sí, cómo no. La situación, no quiero que se olviden que el proyecto donde estamos moviendo los ferrocarriles, el proyecto West Rail, el dinero del Estado ya está aprobado para ese proyecto. El problema tenemos del lado mexicano porque ellos no han hallado todo el dinero. Pero en unos años, el ferrocarril que ahorita está causando el problema ya no va a estar localizado ahí en su barrio. Puede pasar, señora, por favor.
What is the time frame for that relocation? When can they expect that to clear up?
Well, the railroad relocation project, they've.
That area.
That it's coming in the next year or so.
So at least a year?
Yeah, at least.
At
a year.
least,
But we
at
will
least.
not, but let me just make a point. We will not close this until we actually have Morrison Road built.
Ok, esa es la otra cosa. La calle que se llama Morrison Road, que esa es la razón que estamos teniendo esa discusión sobre el acceso al barrio de ustedes. No vamos a cerrar el acceso a su barrio, a sus casas, hasta que ya está construido la calle Morrison. Y estamos esperando otros 3. How much longer for Morrison?
Which was gonna be Morrison, right on the tracks?
No. The right on the tracks is the west rail relocation. That's the movement of the tracks. So once it's moved, you won't have a block on that issue.
Hace tiempo vimos que el 2005 no los iban a quitar, ya pasaron 2 años y no se han movido. Hemos tenido emergencias y no podemos porque
Lo
está
que
el
están
tren.
diciendo es que no vamos a cerrar los accesos estos.
¿Cuál otro camino?
El Morrison.
Okay, but see, they have to understand that Morrison is not going to be on their property. Sí, sí, señora, eso es correcto.
Morrison es muy lejos de nuestro barrio.
Sí es.
Let me just explain. Basically, what we're asking you tonight is to approve the 3 crossings. They will not be closed unless the railroad gives the permit for Morrison Road. So we do not know how long the railroad company is going to take to give us a permit on Morrison Road. So nothing will be affected until that permit is issued. If the railroad decides not to give a permit, then it's a moot point.
Ben, when will you know if a permit will be issued? Just estimate.
Where's Morrison Road
Okay,
supposed to be?
okay.
Further north of you,
Distance from that.
where
Farther
802,
away.
near 802, and yeah, no, it's not going to help access for you, Mr. Cardenas. I don't want to mislead you. That's not going to happen.
The railroad won't give the permit until, the railroad will not give us a permit unless we close 3 crossings. Actually, they wanted us to close 4 crossings. But we got our consultant, John Hudson, to negotiate with them, and they brought it down to 3 because they're aware of the fact that the railroad is coming out. So hopefully, once the railroad comes out, we won't need to close any crossings.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Am I correct that once we get the rail relocated
Right.
and it's out, access is no longer an issue?
Right.
Okay.
These crossings.
So it may be, Mr. Cardenas, that you're not going to have a loss because by the time Morrison Road is constructed, we're not going to close access, assuming that the railroad approves the crossing, okay, or the closing. 2, by that time, hopefully, God willing, we will have already begun the relocation process so that hopefully the relocation is done before Morrison Road is complete. So you may not suffer the access. El problema que queremos que entienden es que a lo mejor si el proyecto del movimiento de los ferrocarriles pasa antes de construcción de la calle Morrison, no van a tener que perder acceso. Van a seguir con las otras 2 maneras de entrar hasta que el ferrocarril le da permiso y que ya está construido la calle Morrison. ¿Ok? Ojalá que cuando ya está construido la calle Morrison, que estamos viendo, ¿cuánto tiempo? ¿2 años? So, entre 2 años, about 2 years, okay, van a construir la calle Morrison. Si en esos 2 años no está terminada el proyecto del movimiento de los ferrocarriles, el West Rail, sí van a tener ese problema de cual estamos hablando. Si ya está construida la calle Morrison. Ahora, si ya está terminado la calle y ya está terminado el proyecto del movimiento de los ferrocarriles, el West Rail, pues van a tener el mismo acceso, porque ya no va a estar ahí el ferrocarril, el tren.
Y si vamos a estar afectados, ¿nos van a avisar antes de hacer nada ahí?
Pues obviamente se están avisando ahorita.
2
Sí.
años, me estás diciendo que ahorita que eso dijeron
Sí,
desde
sí,
el
sí.
2000, lo están moviendo el ferrocarril desde el 2000, ya estamos en 2007.
Sí, sí, así pasa el gobierno, señor.
Entonces,
Desgraciadamente.
¿si nos van a afectar o no?
Sí, sí. El proyecto del ferrocarril es proyecto entre el Estado, el condado y la ciudad.
Nosotros no queremos que se vaya a hacer. Bueno, yo opino que no se debe de cerrar nuestra pasada porque solamente el camino 281 tiene mucho tráfico.
Ujú.
Hemos recurrido a veces que queremos salir por esa calle, pero el tráfico nos tapa por completo la pasada. No tenemos salida al estar pasando el tren. Y el tren no pasa 1 o 2 veces al día.
Ujú.
El tren tiene mucho movimiento todo el día.
Sí,
Entonces,
señora.
es lo que tratamos de opinar.
Por esa razón es tan importante que ese proyecto del ferrocarril,
Sacarlo de la ciudad.
así
Pero
es.
mientras nosotros no estamos seguros si nos van a garantizar nuestra salida, porque como le digo, es una emergencia a veces y no tenemos acceso a salir a la calle, a las calles principales de aquí.
Sí.
Es mucho el tráfico ahí en esa calle y no podemos salir.
Sí, señora. Pero eso no va a ser, si lo aprobemos, no va a ser un cambio inmediato. ¿Ok? Hey, Chief Lenny,
Acaban de
it's
hacer
Chief
la-
Garcia.
Lo acaban de hacer la calle donde está el tren ahorita, donde está el ferrocarril. Vamos a tener acceso todos nosotros para la main road, güey.
Sí. No,
No lo van a cerrar.
Eso no lo van a cerrar hasta
I know,
que...
because the tracks are right there right now.
Right. Well, no, it won't close until Morrison Road is constructed.
I understand what you're saying. My question is, once they're done with all this, and once they remove the railroad tracks from there, their plans, or whoever's plans it is, they're gonna make a main road from there all the way around to Olmito. That's what I understand.
North of you, north of you.
Yeah, okay. Once they build that main road or highway or whatever they're gonna
You
build,
talking about Morrison?
I don't know what you're gonna call it. I'm talking about the one right there where the tracks are right.
Okay,
there on our
that's,
property.
there's not necessarily a road that's gonna be built immediately at that point. That's part of another project, it's called the West Loop, but there's no money yet for that one. That's another one.
So if they're not gonna do nothing there, what do they wanna shut down those entrances for then?
It's because right now, the trains continue to have, right-of-way over those areas. And the way it works is, the railroad says, okay, I've got 10 marbles, and City of Brownsville, you've got 10 marbles. I'll give you 2, but you gotta give me 1. And that's kind of how this works. In other words, if we're closing their access crossing points at certain points, we're doing that so that we can have closure at another point. It's a little, I don't think I gave a good explanation, Ben.
If they close them, how long, I mean, are they gonna be closed permanently or what?
Until the relocation takes place, at that point, then you'll have access again.
Mr. Cardenas, they're talking about, we close them, we make the action, we're closing them, but they still remain open, access to you all still get another, you get a road, which you've never had in the area, yet you're gonna have that access. Exactly, and that's ultimately, I think, extremely concerned. You're gonna get it both ways. You're gonna get the road where you all are at, your main road, yet the access, they'll be closed, but they'll actually be open, where you can still go for the time being.
Mayor and City Commissioner, I request this item be tabled so I can get together with everybody.
I'll make the motion to table.
Motion to
Second.
table by Commissioner Camarillo, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
And Mr. Cardenas,
No cambio ahorita.
if you don't go right now, I'd like to speak with you so we could address the issues that you've brought up. This is the first time I've heard of it, but I do want to sit with you and your family and the surrounding neighborhood so we can help work this out. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Cardenas. We appreciate it. Item 12.
Item 12, consideration and action to adopt Budget Amendment Resolution Number 2007-030 to amend the general fund to provide $60,000 for the city's youth recreation budget unit and to allocate $500,000 for street materials for the Streets Maintenance Division.
Smile,
Thank
Mr.
you, Mr.
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez.
Mayor, members of the City Commission, we are requesting additional funding for the streets of $500,000, along with $60,000 for the program that we are going to start for the youth services this summer. The schedule that I just passed out to you just gives you a summary of the general fund budget, what the status of the general fund budget is, with this particular budget amendment. So we started the year with $18,317,375. We have amended the budget in the revenue side of $1,184,100. Right now, our budget shows revenues of $79,274,330. Expenditures, we have had several budget amendments this year. The budget expenditures right now show $87,335,266. If you, at the very bottom of that schedule, our estimates, based on what's in the budget, is $10,256,439. Again, these are conservative numbers. We know that we are going to exceed our revenues budgets at the end of the year, and more than likely we'll spend less. But as it stands right now, our reserve in the general fund, as far as from expenditure, around 12%. At the very bottom, you also look at the revenue budget of 79,274,330, expenditures of 87,335,266, which shows that we've already drawn down from the fund balance that we had at the beginning of the year of 8,060,936. On the second page, has a history of all the years in the second page are actual except for 2007. 2007, obviously the reserves with the additional budget amendments that we've had this year have gone down. Our goal is to have a 15% reserve, and that's what our rating agencies like to see when we visit with them every year when we borrow money. We're very, very close to it. Hopefully by the end of the year we'll be at that point. Our recommendations obviously is that we don't, hopefully we can not have more budget amendments for the remaining months of the year.
Pete, the budget amendment of 6.6,
Mm-hmm.
aren't we selling bonds on some of this?
Now, these are all this is just reflects the general fund.
No, well, my point is, we've hit the general fund balance for this 8 million approximately. How much of that are we getting back on bond issuance?
0.
The 6.6 consisted of what?
Well, I don't have it with me, but there have been several budget amendments that we've had this year. I'll go ahead and go over them with you. On the expense side, some of the budget amendments that we've had, we purchased, or actually we allocated $145,000 around October for the purchase of 45 golf carts. That was not in the original budget. We also had $130,000.
Well,
that was,
okay.
I mean, I have a whole list here
Well,
that equals to that amount.
that equals the 8 million. Tell me
Yeah.
what the big ticket items were.
Well, the main one would be the collective bargaining contract.
How much value was that placed on it?
1,733,000, 1,625,000. Right, no, 1,733,749.
749 or 733?
1,733,749.
Okay, that leaves
We also allocated.
6.3.
We also allocated 1.3 million, 1,315,000 for streets. That was done on April the 17th. Those are the major ones.
That's 3 million between those two, the other 5.
We also, anyone that's major here, we also allocated.
That first one, is that the collective bargaining, is that for both police and fire or just for the fire?
Fire. We also had on January the 31st, we allocated money for the airport, 1.5 million.
Okay, but we're supposed to be getting part of that back. That was for the purchase of some property, wasn't it?
Sir, this is strictly monies that are going from the general fund to airport just to keep the airport above, in other words,
Okay.
to match the revenues.
Larry's not here, right?
Roger that.
Well, Pete,
The numbers that we have here
and
are.
I've said this before, I've been concerned that we were utilizing that fund balance as a kitty that we can just hit, and that 15% is a magical number with regards to our bond rating agencies. You just made that clear. You need to find out how much of these amounts that we've advanced or taken out of the fund balance are going to be reciprocated or reimbursed.
0.
Well, that's not what I recall.
You see, you don't get mixed. Don't get your transfers and loans. Yes, we do have a loan that was made to the airport fund, and the air general fund will get reimbursed from those proceeds from the bonds that go to the airport. That's a loan. It is not a transfer. What this that I'm showing you is the actual drawdown that we've had to the fund balance this year.
Well, it's too much.
Well, Mayor,
It's
I
too
mean,
much, man.
we just came off of, prior to our election, and constant accusations that we don't do anything for the children of the city. That the city focuses on police and fire salaries, that we focus on streets, that we focus on this, but that we're not focusing on children. Now, Pete, I know, I realize, and I do know that we're getting hit, and that, but summer's coming along. We need to do something for our kids, man, and
I don't have a problem with the 60,000 in the grand scheme of things is not much, but another 500,000, which I know the streets department, maintenance division needs it. My concern is, we had an extremely healthy fund balance. I didn't realize we had hit it this much, and that we're not looking at receiving some of these funds back before the end of the year. But
Now,
anyway,
like
all right.
like I said earlier, Mayor, also, is that these numbers, like every year, we have they're conservative. We know very well that our sales tax numbers are about $700,000
Well,
more.
we're not running at a $6 million surplus either.
Right.
Okay.
Anyway, okay.
This is an action item.
I move
to approve
to approve.
Both items.
both items.
All right, motion to approve both items by Commissioner Atkinson, seconded by
Second.
Commissioner Longoria. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? I'm gonna vote nay because of the 500,000. I don't have a problem with the 60,000, but I'm voting nay. I think, and I know we're gonna hear about this in a few weeks.
Well, you know
Motion
what?
carries.
Those 500,000 are for streets. There's a big. I know.
It's not the issue. It's the amount. I mean, we've already hit it quite a bit this year. Anyway, motion carries. Item 13.
Item 13, consideration and action on resolution number 2007-031 to support Amigos del Valle in a Section 202 elderly housing application for the southmost section of the community, and to provide surplus land and declare elderly housing as a high priority in the southmost area.
Honorable Mayor and City Commission, the Amigos del Valle Housing Agency has approached the city. They would like to apply for a HUD Section 202 elderly housing application, which is very competitive. They have seen that, as you may know, that the elderly housing projects that they have right now are on the west side of the community. They would like to have a facility on the east side in the southmost area, and we would work with them to identify surplus land, and also that the city owns, and also to declare in our housing plan as elderly housing a high priority in the southmost area that would make HUD funds more available to this project. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
And do we
Questions?
have
We
property?
have been looking.
I know that we have vacant lots, but that's not what you're looking for, right? You're looking for kind of
At
like,
least 6 acres, and we have identified at least one parcel that's about that size in that part of the community. And we will work with our management, city manager, and yourselves to come back with that transfer.
move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Garza. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 14.
Item 14, consideration and action to purchase property located between Block 92, lots 5 and 6, Block 91, lot 11, and Block 92, lot 7, and west 49.6 feet of Lot 8 of Brownsville Original Town Sites.
Mayor, members of the commission, my name is Larry Montenegro. I'm here on behalf of Norma Zamora to ask for consideration and action to purchase the properties previously discussed in the executive session. I do want to take this time to point out that there is a mistake in one of the legal descriptions on the third property that says west 49.6 feet. Let the record show that it needs to read west 49 feet 6 inches.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
Hold on. West 49.6 inches?
49 feet 6 inches.
I think that's what that means.
It currently reads 49.6 feet.
Feet.
And there's a small difference.
49 points,
It's 49 feet, 6
6
inches.
inches. Okay.
It's a real small
Motion to approve by Commissioner Atkinson. Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 15.
That's the way they had it. Item 15, consideration and action to accept the fiscal year 2007 Safety Lou allocation for funding under the Section 5309 program for bus and bus facilities, and to authorize the city manager to execute an agreement with the Federal Transit Administration amending the funds to an existing grant agreement.
To briefly explain the purpose for this agenda item, a couple of years ago, Congress passed a transportation authorization bill known as the Safe, Accountable, Flexible, and Efficient Transportation Equity Act, a legacy for users, which is Safety Lou. It authorized spending limits for transportation programs covering fiscal years 2006 through 2009. It included an earmark for $6.09 million for the bus citywide transit improvement project, which is the name we've given to a project that encompasses 4 different tasks, which are constructing a north side transfer station, which was completed in 2006, constructing a multimodal terminal facility in downtown Brownsville, a major renovation of the current bus administrative maintenance facility, and construction of a park and ride facility that'll serve downtown. The development of the multimodal terminal is the priority project at this point, so we're allocating the entire earmark, $6.09 million for this task. We received the first portion of the earmark last year, and what we're requesting now is your authorization to accept the FY 2007 portion of the earmark so that we can execute a grant agreement with the Federal Transit Administration to use those funds.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Longoria, seconded by Commissioner Atkinson. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 16.
Here we go.
Item 16, consideration and action to authorize the city manager to execute a lease agreement, stadium construction and management agreement, a reimbursement agreement with the accompanying site schematic between the City of Brownsville and the United Baseball League.
Mayor, members of the City Commission, these documents that are included in your packet are sort of the final culmination of all of the executive sessions and other meetings that we've had concerning United Baseball League's interest in building a stadium here, and also having some commercial properties adjacent to that, which they would then sublease to commercial tenants.
How does the city benefit from that?
Well, the city would see the development of the stadium, and the stadium would pay for itself, in effect. And the city would also see the development of the adjacent area for commercial properties, would receive the ad valorem taxes for that, as well as a percentage of the net lease profits from those commercial subleases. I know that there are complicated documents. That's a complicated economic proposal.
Let me see if I can try to narrow this down. The first ground lease talks about the development and construction of the baseball stadium.
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Mr. Wentz here as well.
Yeah.
I need some.
Okay. Now, in addition, the Brownsville Sports, what is it called? Or United League Baseball, but then I thought they had an, I don't have
United
the right.
Sports Equities.
United Sports Equities or Brownsville Sport. Brownsville Sports is going to operate the stadium? Is that right, Bradley? Yeah, come on. The commission's got some questions.
Yes, the Brownsville Sports Equities will be the operator
Of
of
the
the facility
stadium, okay.
on the city's behalf.
The legal description and discussion of most of the lease agreements that we reviewed over the weekend deal with the baseball stadium.
Correct.
And there's a number, I believe, of 7.5.
That's
Up to.
Up to 7.5
Up to 7.5.
million, which is the estimated cost of the stadium.
That does not include any cost or investment to build the adjoining commercial development.
Correct, that's solely on United Sports'
That is solely, okay. So there will be a separate lease agreement between the city and whatever that entity is that's going to develop the commercial property?
Correct.
Okay, all right, and I think that's very, very important to clarify. The documents that you're asking us to approve tonight deal only with the lease of the area that's going to be utilized for the development and construction, design, and operation of the baseball stadium.
Correct, but within that footprint, there is a right to a sublease, and then that sublease in turn, once we hit what they call essentially the reimbursement agreement target of 7.5 million, that's when there's sharing of the subleases back to the city.
Of what? Of the
commercial.
stadium? Of the commercial?
Within the stadium footprint, yes, sir.
Okay. So the amount that United Sports Equities or whichever legal entity it is going to be paying the city an annual rent of $12,000.
Correct, sir.
And that includes the commercial properties?
On day one, we are, before any of this can occur, we are opening to the public the sports stadium for the use by the community up to 80%. It'll probably actually be more than that. So first, we're going to grant the stadium, $7.5 million stadium, to the city, and then in turn, once we have an ad valorem tax or sales tax hit that target, the city has all the ad valorem tax and the sales tax for the
Yeah,
city side of the ledger.
I don't think that there's any question about, once the stadium has reimbursed itself,
Yes, sir.
the 7.5, which was the cost of construction for the, or whatever it is, the big 6, 7, 5, whatever. Then after that, the city is going to receive its, all of the taxes associated with the operation,
Yes.
sales tax, whatever.
Yes.
Now, the question I have is the commercial development. Are we going to have a separate lease arrangement between the city and whatever equity firm is going to be doing that development? In other words, what's the city should be charging a lease rate for the commercial property in addition to?
And the lease rate you're charging is implicit in the fact that we are going to build out at our cost the structures.
Right.
And in turn, the documents state that 20% of the gross leases will automatically revert to the city.
Okay.
So it's a percentage gross lease, but once
From
again,
day
we only
one.
have a ground lease, but we're going to put $25 million worth of property on there.
From day one?
Yes, and then
Oh,
you in
okay.
turn will get 20% of those gross lease revenues back, plus
Okay.
ad valorem, plus sales tax, plus any other taxes that you assess, or Mr. Mayor.
Okay. That makes much more sense, because the way it looked was, we were going to reimburse you for the construction of the stadium, and then after that, we were also going to continue to reimburse the commercial development, plus not have an income from the lease of those commercial properties. So the lease of the commercial properties is at 20%.
Yes, sir.
Where is that in this paperwork? What page?
I think it's 132.
Commissioner Roy, it's under the lease agreement, and I don't recall the section number, but it's under
Page 132, I believe.
taxes.
Which agreement? Because there's 3 of them, right?
It's under the lease agreement.
Okay, so that's the first one.
And under the heading of taxes.
What section? Taxes, under taxes.
Which number is that one?
Still looking.
I think it's page 130.
Oh, here it is. No, 5.1. That one?
Now, there are two, be sure we're looking at the corrected one. The first one did not have those provisions. After we discussed it and renegotiated,
Okay,
you have both copies in your packet. The correct one is, yes, it's 5.1. I can show you.
See, yeah, look, see, it says, the city will not assess.
3.2.
Oh, okay, this is, the one that's in the system is not the updated one.
I'm sorry.
Well, what it says here, Commissioners, is the city will not assess any ad valorem real or personal property taxes or assessment taxes against the premises, improvements, any improvements located on the premises, or any leasehold estate on the premises. prior to the reimbursement termination date as defined in section 3.2 hereof. City shall be permitted to levy a sports facility assessment against the premises and improvements that mirrors the same economic charges that would be charged as taxes, an SF assessment. Landlord shall assist tenant to confirm that no other taxing jurisdiction will assess any taxes against premises interest prior to the reimbursement termination date.
Just in an effort to be thorough, Mayor, I included the original proposal, and then after we renegotiated the proposal, the corrected one, which provides that the city would receive 20% of the net amount of the lease income from the commercial property. And that's in your materials as well, in the second ground lease.
Section
There's
3.2.
two copies in your materials. The second one contains that corrected language, which provides...
What's our risk
Pardon me?
in this? What's our risk? What worst case scenario for the city?
I don't think there's a legal risk. Our financial advisors have looked at it. They don't feel that there's a financial risk because the city's not committing revenue. If the venture fails, then we've all lost the opportunity to have a stadium, which the city would have access to, and we've lost the opportunity to have this additional revenue, which would come from the commercial development. But we wouldn't be out any money of our own, from the city's coffers, if that's what you mean. It's a public-private venture. The private sector would be investing the majority of the money and ultimately would receive the majority of the income. The city, in turn, would receive the property, the development of the property, which might or might not occur otherwise, as well as a portion of the lease payments.
And we're not putting up our bonds to
No.
get this done, right?
No. We made that clear from day one.
This commission's been really clear with me in terms of being a spokesperson that the commission was not willing to make any financial commitment to this project, that the city was willing to allow the investor to take the risk, and that we would in turn be partners with that and provide the real estate for that development, but that this commission was not going to be in a position that they would ever be required to borrow money or sell bonds to help finance any part of this development.
How many acres are we offering them?
I believe the total area is about 80 acres.
The total area is 80 acres, but we're building the stadium on the front 40 acres, plus 10 acres of shared parking.
And do we already know what size of stadium it's going to be, or?
He can give you.
Documents in terms of minimum requirements.
3,500.
Yeah, 3,500 chair back seats, minimum.
And it's going to have facilities that you can go for soccer, football?
It also requires it requires an all-turf surface.
Field turf.
Essentially AstroTurf.
AstroTurf or
Well,
field
the
turf?
new
Third
field
generation,
turf.
it's
the new
third
field turf.
generation AstroTurf, and that will be there on day one. So there's a series of requirements for us to hand over the keys to the stadium for you that we must meet, and that is it. And you can either have one regulation soccer game or two smaller soccer fields out there.
And just to be
Also
clear,
high school football. Too, sir.
high school football,
Yes.
in case later on BSD, we work something out with them.
That's
They're
why,
actually
that's why the
included as a
multi-use
constituent.
part of this is critical, because the school district is in need of facilities. And this should assist them, plus at the same time helping us out by utilizing the utilization of those fields.
The documents actually state 60% community use at cost, and that includes the school district and possibly the Brownsville University.
And then the
UG.
university also with the baseball team.
Baseball is retaining 20%, so you can see it's 80% for the public. And the baseball team is paying market rates for their use.
Mayor, just one comment add to that, and Jim, and I hope we also preserve the natural wildlife in that area, because we have a group of people that have done so much already for that trail park on Alton Glore. I want to make sure we preserve and we keep that area very, very safe, so they can continue to do what they've been doing, and hopefully enhance that down the road. But that is a concern of mine, that we maintain and preserve that the natural habitat that's around there, and the walking, biking trails, for those citizens that have been using it and doing different
Try to
events.
integrate in some shape or form the development of the path that's already out there. Obviously, it can't be done exactly the way it is now because of the location, but certainly a walking trail around the entire stadium and around the parking.
Mr. Mayor, that's in everyone's interest.
Very
We
good.
obviously want to have maximum use out there with the public, and we will certainly, it will be a very cohesive, integrated plan. I'll assure you that.
Perfect.
Any other questions? Go ahead,
What do you think, Skip?
Yeah, that was gonna be my question, Skip, come on.
Come
Are
on,
you,
man.
are you in favor of this, Mr. Keller?
Just
And what would your recommendation be?
I'm definitely in favor of this. We've worked together for the past several months on this project.
No.
And we have discussed the natural area over there. We will keep that intact.
Thank
I
you.
think this, plus the more people in that area, the less vandalism we're gonna have out there.
Right.
So I think it's gonna be a great project for everybody.
Commissioner?
Thank you, Skip.
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Atkinson, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Good luck. We hope to see you next spring,
A lot
Mr.
of hard
Wayne.
work, but thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Commissioner. Look forward to playing baseball in 2008.
We're looking forward to it. Item 17.
Item 17, consideration and action to change the terms of the agreement between Project Vita and the City of Brownsville to end June 30th, 2007, from September 30th, 2007.
Honorable Mayor and City Commissioner, we've been in discussion with Project Vida since they have received funding from the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation. No, they no longer need our funding. We've met with them, they have approved of this, so we are,
Vida said it was okay?
yes,
Are you sure?
yes.
I don't see any of them here. I'm surprised. Good. This is very good. All right. This is an action item.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by
Second.
Commissioner Arroyo, seconded by Commissioner Garza.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I'm still learning your voice, Commissioner. Sorry.
Mayor,
Item 18. By the time I learn, I'll be gone.
Thank you.
this is my last item tonight. I would like to thank you very much for your service, and Ms. Arroyo.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
I got one more meeting, so don't say goodbyes yet. Item 18.
Item 18, consideration and action to approve a memorandum of understanding between the United States Marshal Service, Southern District of Texas, and the Brownsville Police Department to establish a full-time district fugitive task force.
Mayor, members of the City Commission, good evening. This MOU will allow us to assign one officer to the Marshals full-time district fugitive task force. There are no monies involved in here, just the assignment of personnel. The advantage that we have participating in this task force is that we will have access to their equipment and technology.
Great. Move to approve that one.
Motion to
Me
approve
too.
Commissioner Atkinson, seconded by Commissioner Camarillo. All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Item 19.
Item 19, consideration and action to approve a letter of intent with the Nashville Metropolitan Transit Authority.
Mayor, members of the City Commission, simply put, this is a first step in an attempt to acquire 3 transit buses for our transit system here. And the first step is approving, asking for your approval for a letter of intent between the City of Brownsville and Nashville MTA. And simply saying, we are using their contract with a Gillig Corporation and piggyback a purchase on that sales contract. We will
Jim?
come back to you with that data.
And is there any prohibition against the utilization of this system or manner?
No, sir. We looked at it. There were a few terms and conditions that we weren't overjoyed with, mandatory venue in Washington State. But aside from that, no, it appears that it's overall a favorable opportunity for us.
So your recommendation, item?
Yes, sir. Please approve.
Move to approve, Mayor.
Motion approved by Commissioner Camarillo, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries. Item 20.
Item 20, consideration and action to award a contract for the 2005 CIP project, contract number 2 for street paving and drainage improvements.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, this is quite a lengthy item, so please bear along. At the request of Planning and Community Development, we have solicited statement of qualifications for the aforementioned project. It is the intent of the city of Brownsville and the Brownsville Public Utilities Board to contract with an engineering firm for design services of a new wastewater treatment collection system to be located in the northwestern side of Brownsville. The added flows from the project area will not require improvements to this one or any one downstream existing lift stations and will convey the wastewater to the existing north wastewater treatment plant. The goal of the city of Brownsville is to complete this design in a timely manner to enable the submission of a grant application to the Texas Water Development Board for funding. The City of Brownsville Planning Department intends to use TWDB EDAP grant funds to pay for the construction costs of this project. Since the design engineering cost will not be reimbursed by Texas Water Development Board through EDAP funding, the engineering cost guidelines default back to those of the City of Brownsville. Project milestones. Legal advertisement appeared in the Brownsville Herald one time, February the 4th, and was posted to the city's website February the 5th. 8 acknowledgments were subsequently received. 3 firms acknowledged no participation, and 5 firms acknowledged their interest. Statements of qualifications were received for the subject project on February 22nd at the Purchasing Contracting Department office. 5 qualifying statements were received from the following firms: Naismith Engineering, Plagar Engineering.
Excuse me.
Mayor, I think we're doing 21 instead of 20, so can we read 21?
We read 20. Are you doing 21?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Well, can we read 21
Yeah,
out, Mayor?
no, well, no. Jim? Can we go ahead and read item 21 since he's already started the presentation? All right, go ahead, Stella.
It's on our agenda.
Okay, item
Sorry.
21, consideration and action to award a contract for design construction phase services for Villanueva Sanitary Sewer Waste Disposal Project.
Is 20
If I
and
may
21
continue?
together or what?
No. It's just that he was doing 21.
Yeah, I got one ahead of myself.
Well, and I was following you up to a certain point, and then I turned away, so,
Yes, sir. If I may continue,
go ahead, Ivan.
copies of qualification statements were distributed to the Evaluation Committee for review and evaluation on March 15th. On April 4th, the Review Committee has submitted their evaluation criteria score sheets to the Purchasing Contracting Office. As a result of this process, the Review Committee scheduled interviews on April 18th for the 3 highest-ranked firms. Subsequent to the meeting, the Review Committee submitted their interview evaluation score sheets to the Purchasing Contracting Office. Contract negotiations were initiated with the highest-ranked firm, AGH Engineering and Surveying, by the Planning Department. On May 23rd, '07, Purchasing Contracting Department received a proposal from AGH Engineering and Surveying. As a result of the negotiation process, the firm and the Planning Department have reached a satisfactory working agreement in terms of the available budget for the project. The negotiations resulted in the attached proposed contract calculated on the basic design services and construction phase services of 8.25%, inclusive of all required engineering and surveying services. On May 23rd, 2007, the Purchasing Contracting Department received a memorandum from Ben Medina recommending we accept the negotiated proposals. The recommendation, staff recommends the following: consideration and action to award a professional service contract for planning, design, bid and construction, inspection phase services for Villanueva Sanitary Sewer Waste Disposal Project to AGH Engineering and Surveying of Brownsville, Texas, in the amount of $156,250. On top of that, but aside, estimate construction costs from the engineering firm of Turney, Colley, and Braden in charge of the preliminary facilities plan study is approximately $1.4 million. I await your consideration.
Any questions?
This is greatly needed, Mayor, and in part of my district.
This is
Folks will be very, very excited about this.
Long overdue. We've been working on this one for a while.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Camarillo, seconded by Commissioner Arroyo. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, go back to item 20.
Item 20, consideration and action to award a contract for the 2005 CIP project, contract number 2 for street paving and drainage improvements.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, at the request of Engineering Director Carlos Lastra, the Purchasing Contracting Department solicited formal sealed bids for the aforementioned project. It is the intent of the City of Brownsville to contract with the general contractor for the purpose of performing street paving and drainage improvements by milling approximately 25,000 square feet of hot mix asphalt and replacing 18,000 square yards of HMAC, 8,300 square yards of Portland cement stabilized base, and 167 tons of Portland cement. Remove and replace approximately 2,480 lineal feet of curb gutter, remove and replace 587 square feet of valley gutter, and replace approximately 456 square feet of sidewalk. A list of the streets under contract 2 for CIP 2005 street paving and drainage improvements are, there are 7, Woodhaven Court, Greenfield Court, Eastwood Court, Canterbury Court, South Buckingham Court, North Buckingham Court, and Warwick Glen. Project milestones were accomplished as follows. Legal advertisement in the Brownsville Herald one time, March the 18th, and posted to the city's website, March the 19th. 5 general contractors requested and received bid packages. 5 acknowledgements were subsequently received. 2 pre-bid meetings were conducted March 28th and April 11th. 5 general contractors were represented at the pre-bid meetings. Requests for changes were submitted by contractors during the pre-bid meeting and bid process. City engineer and project consulting engineer approved the requested changes. 9 addendums to the bid specs and drawings were released to the participating contractors and posted to the website during the bid process. Sealed formal bids were opened for the project on May 17th, 07 at 3 o'clock. 5 bids were received and tabulated by the project consulting engineer, James Holdar from Holdar Engineering Company. Staff recommendation. Consideration action to award a contract for the 2005 CIP project contract number 2 for street paving and drainage improvements for Woodhaven Court, Greenfield Court, Eastwood Court, Canterbury Court, South Buckingham Court, North Buckingham Court, and Warwick Glen to G&T Paving Company of Brownsville, Texas, the lowest responsive in the amount of $449,227.63. The engineer's cost estimate for this project is $447,300, which is $1,927 under the recommended bid amount. I await your consideration.
All right. The staff's recommendation is to approve it to the low bid of G&T in the amount of $449,227.63.
Yes, sir. This is.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Atkinson, seconded by, Commissioner Garza. All in favor? All
Aye.
opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan. Mr. Ruiz, we have one public comment.
Before he says that, I know we're live, and right now during the end of football, and there's baseball season going on. There's West Brownsville, North Brownsville, East Brownsville city playoffs. I encourage the people at home, if you have a chance tomorrow, even tonight, there's games going on. USSSA has tournaments on the weekend, but right now we do have city playoffs. So if people at home can go out and watch the Major League kids play at North, and at East is the minor league. So
Right. The North Little League has the major leagues,
major.
and East Brownsville at Lincoln Park has the minor leagues.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for reminding us about it. Go ahead, Mr. Ruiz. We won't take away your time on that.
Nando Ruiz, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, like you asked me a while ago, Mr. Mayor, don't we ever do anything right? Well, I don't know. Today's paper, it said something about the PUB rates being lower. You know, people were very happy. This guy called the PUB I don't know how many times because his wife told him, hey, the bill is so much, you know. It can be. So he investigates, you know, and calls the PUB and says, you know what? That's what's happening. Somebody's is making miracles over there at the PUB. I don't know for how long, but I want to congratulate them on what they're doing, and I want to inform
It wasn't
you.
PUB, it was the city commissioners here that lowered the utility
Eso.
rates. It
Eso,
wasn't
sir.
PUB.
And this is why, you know, I'm just letting you know that that they have responded, you know, because I have brought the issue about the PUB, and I have addressed it for a long time, and finally, you know, the commission, okay, fine. I want to congratulate you. If that's where it's coming from, fine.
Thanks.
So we're happy.
Thank you, Mr. Ruiz. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Reese.
This meeting is adjourned.